So in this problem, we have x squared plus 2z is equal to 35. Now, since this is a quadratic, and you've got an x squared term, and you have a z term, and you have a constant, your strategy here should be to get everything on one side of the equal sign and 0 on the other side. So to do that, we're going to start by subtracting both sides by 35. Okay, when we do that, the 35 minus 35 is now a 0 pair. And so we're left with 0 on the right-hand side of the equation. And on the other side, we still have the x squared. We still have plus 2z. And now we also have minus 35. All right, now let's try to factor this. Let's think, what times what is x squared? Well, x times x gives us the x squared. And now we want to think, what multiplies to negative 35 that would add to positive 2? So we're trying to think of those factors of negative 35. Well, let's just go out to the side and think what multiplies to 35. There's 1 and 35. 1 times 35 is 35. 2 doesn't work, 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, but 5 does. 5 times 7 is 35. 6 doesn't work. 7 times 5 is 35, and we've crossed over now, so we can stop looking. So some of our puzzle pieces are these factors, but we also have to consider the signs. It needs to multiply to a negative 35. So a negative times positive is a negative. So our signs are going to need to be negative and positive. Now the question is, which of these pairs should I put in? Okay. Let's go with the 5 and the 7. Yep. And we got to decide if we're going to do a positive 5 and negative 7 or a negative 5 and a positive 7. Let's go with negative 5 and positive 7 because we need a positive 2. And 7 minus 5 is 2. All right. Now, before we move on, let's double check that we factored it right by multiplying out these binomials. So we have x times x is x squared. So check, we got that right. And x times 7 is 7x minus 5x is 2x. So that checks out. And then negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. So we got it factored correctly. So now let's go the next step and actually solve this and set each factor equal to 0. And it's real easy to just stop at the factorization and forget to move on to the answer and get the problem wrong. And we don't want that to happen. So you set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So we'll add 5 to both sides. So we have x is equal to 5. And then on the other side, we're subtracting 7 from both sides. And so we have x is equal to negative 7. So x equals 5 or x equals negative 7. And now let's put this in Desmos and look at the graph.